everybody's talking about Parliament.
That's right. The word parliament is, after all, derived from parler, the French word for to talk.
So while we're here, how about we talk about Parliament? What exactly is the Swiss Parliament anyway?
Parliament is the highest legislative authority. It's called the Federal Assembly. It's one of the three constitutional powers, along with the Federal Council and the courts. It sits in Bern in the Federal Palace, or more specifically, in the Parliament building.
And what exactly does Parliament do? They make new laws, don't they?
Right. They discuss and make decisions on issues that are important to our country, for society, the economy, the military.
Can we watch this happen?
Well, yes, but reaching a final decision is a complicated process.
Wow, how impressive. It's like being in a museum or an opera house.
It is. It was built in 1902, after all.
A lot has changed since then.
Yes, back when our great-great-grandfathers called the shots, women were only present as statues or allegories. But today it's completely normal for women to sit in Parliament too.
National Council, Council of States, two councils in the same building. What about the Federal Council? Do they meet here too?
No, only the National Council and the Council of States meet in the Parliament building. This is where they draft our laws. So you see, the separation of powers applies to location as well.
And the Federal Council, the national government, it implements these laws?
Exactly, and the courts make sure that these laws really are legitimate. The point of this is...
to make sure no one becomes too powerful?
Spot on. In a democracy, the state's power always needs to be divided, checked and balanced.
But why do we need two councils in one parliament?
If the seats were divided up according to the canton's populations, small cantons would be at a disadvantage. In the Council of States, the seats are divided equally among the cantons. This helps to create a balance between the small and the large cantons.
And for a parliamentary decision to pass, it needs to be approved by both the National Council and the Council of States, right?
That's right.
By my count, there are 46 seats in here.
Exactly. Each canton or state appoints either one or two representatives to this council.
And what about the National Council? That one's got 200 members, right?
And they represent the Swiss electorate. The seats are allocated according to the canton's populations.
So that's why Zurich gets 35 seats.
And some smaller cantons get only one.
So how do these 246 councillors make a new law? Do they just go ahead and start debating and then vote on it afterwards?
No, not quite. The whole process is regulated. The president of their council makes sure everything is done according to the rules. The National Council has a clear seating plan. Members of the same parliamentary group all sit together. The seating plan in the Council of States is less strict.
Sessions. I know what this is. Parliament meets for 3 weeks, 4 times a year, and these periods are called sessions. But what are parliamentary groups?
Parliamentary groups comprise all council members who belong to the same party. If a party is small, it can join forces with another, like-minded party to form a larger, more powerful group.
So what do the members do when Parliament isn't in session?
They attend committee meetings or just do their regular jobs. They aren't full-time politicians, so they still know what everyday life is like for ordinary people.
Do they need to be able to speak all 4 national languages?
That would be nice, but it really isn't necessary. Everybody speaks in their mother tongue. The national councillors are lucky. Interpreters translate their debates, and they can listen to them using headphones. By the way, parliamentary meetings are open to the public. You can follow them live or on the web, or read about them afterwards.
Cool. And what are the national councillors working on today?
They're discussing a bill submitted by one of their committees. Most of the work is done in these small groups. This is where compromises are made, confidentially, behind closed doors.
Of course, changing laws or writing new ones takes a great deal of care. But how does this work exactly?
Regardless of whether a bill comes from Parliament itself, the Federal Council, a canton, or a popular initiative from an interest group, the committee responsible, and finally both chambers, must discuss each and every bill, until they come to an agreement. The bill passes back and forth between the two chambers. This usually takes longer than just one session.
And what happens when one chamber accepts a bill, but the other one rejects it?
If the Council of States votes differently from the National Council, the bill is passed back to the National Council, and then back to the Council of States, and back to the National Council, and then...
Wait, stop! This can't possibly keep going ad infinitum.
No, of course not. If the two chambers can't reach an agreement after 3 debates each, a conciliation committee has to find a solution. If they can't find one either, the bill is rejected.
And after all that work has been done, Parliament must also have other things to do apart from this.
Yes, it does. In Switzerland, Parliament elects and checks on the members of the Federal Council and the Federal Supreme Court. This isn't the case in other countries.
And who manages the federal finances?
That's another of Parliament's responsibilities. They decide on the annual budget. They also maintain relations with the cantons and with other countries. Parliament meets with foreign delegations and ratifies contracts with other states.
How do the members of Parliament manage to do all of this?
They get support from the parliamentary services, the Parliament's administration.
Well, laws obviously don't simply fall into our laps from the dome of the Federal Palace. Say I wanted to get actively involved in this process. What would I have to do?
It's really simple. Join a party and run for Parliament.
I'll try my luck with the National Council first.
Which party then?
I'd probably have the best chances of making a difference as a candidate for a large party, wouldn't I?
Not necessarily. In Switzerland, none of the parties can make decisions single-handedly, so you can join whichever party you feel best represents you. It doesn't need to be a big one.
Sounds good. I'll remember that. You'll be hearing from me.
Good luck. See you soon in Parliament.